Getting into it Wednesday morning, March 13th, ready to go. We're talking about Teslas, Rogues, SuperCar EVs, and, you know, discounts. We're talking discounts. It's like, I feel like, you know, that old, who was it?
Allen Iverson.
Like, practice.
We talking about practice?
Practice? Yeah.
We talking about
discounts. Talking about discounts. Speaking of discounts, we've only got a couple more days on the discounts on ASOTU tickets. The early bird pricing ends real soon. Ticket purchasing, sponsorship.
Bro, that was smooth, by the way.
It's running. Yeah.
Yeah, I love the mix. That was really smooth, going from discount to discount.
Discount to discount. You do
it long enough. Every day?
You do it long enough, and things just they all run together. Like all the words just end up running together, you know? So that's how we do it around here.
Speaking of discounts, stop.
I mean, why not? Today we're just getting into it, okay? That's just because
that was my first. I think that was my first. That was my first segue. I've done this pod like 5 times.
Yeah. We've got a lot to say about the stories today, and we want to get to the last story because there's some ridiculous stuff. So speaking of discounts, Nissan is battling a massive surplus of 2023 Rogue models, turning to dealer incentives to clear new inventory as the 2024s arrive. They currently have over 24,000 unsold 2023 Rogues. Ugh. The Rogue has also, over the last year, seen the longest days of turn of any of its competitors in the compact crossover at 55 days. So a pretty popular vehicle, and something that historically has not stayed on lots a long time. Seems like they've overproduced a bit. They have deployed this strategy, which, if you remember to days of old and Nissan and how they incentivize dealers on stair-step programs, this will be maybe a little bit of like whiplash for Nissan dealers. But there's a $1,000 bonus on these Rogues if dealers hit their tiered programs. So it's kind of like an all or nothing. If you miss it by one, you get none of the money. But we were just like, the quick calculations is there's $24 million of incentives that Nissan is having to deploy in order to get rid of these vehicles that are just hanging out there. The U.S. sales chief, Judy Wheeler, said, "We probably were uber aggressive on what we took in production." You think? Here's a quote from the actual article, and the end of this quote is the crazy one. We'll get to it, but Nissan's day supply has surged to an average of 112 days at the end of January, 40% higher than the national average of 80 days, according to Cox Automotive. According to data from Motor Intelligence, Nissan spent, get this, an average of $3,210 per vehicle on incentives in February, the second highest among full line brands. So the money's out there to get.
It's insane. Price. I don't know if that's also like a really interesting. I mean, Bitcoin all-time highs. You know, Nissan stair-step programs, like nostalgia. It's like rewind. Like the last 6 years are just like erased, and we're back. You know, are we just back? It kind of feels that way. I'm like super surprised that a mid-size SUV in America is having a struggle. Like that particular vehicle. General.
Right.
Yeah, if they were talking about, what was the other one that was super, super small?
The Juke? The Nissan?
If you were like, we got way too many Jukes, I'd be like, okay, absolutely. Fair. That makes sense. Right? But Rogues? I don't know. Just being that particular model.
Yeah, you just feel like I see them everywhere. So it's clearly a production and demand issue that they ran into. Yeah. And I mean, we've been saying this for the past year. Like the minute brands are able to wholesale more vehicles, they will do so. Now, what that means for the 24,000 with $1,000, in the trunk of the car, the way they say it, not on the hood, is yet to be determined. how much of an impact over the next few years this will have on the residual values or the trade-in values of these cars. The biggest difficulty here is the 2024 model year is only a brand refresh. There's not actually anything net new. So sales pace on those is going to be much slower because you're not going to sell those at the same time as these 2023s when dealers are discounting these things already 1,000 below invoice plus the opportunity for the kickback.
Am I making this up? Do you remember we were doing I think it was you and I doing this pod, like COVID-ish times, right? Yep. And the news was all OEMs are kind of like, we should stop overproducing. This whole
we're never going back to the way it was, right?
Yeah. It's been cracked. It's back.
It's back. Speaking of cracks.
Stop.
Segue.
Time.
There's a little crack in the ship over at Tesla as the Cybertruck owners have taken to online forums to sell their vehicles, but Tesla is enforcing now a bit of its no resale clause. And the no resale clause originally said that they were going to fine these vehicle owners up to $50,000. But right now, what they're doing is just canceling any additional reservations or future reservations, blacklisting those that have purchased a Cybertruck and are attempting to resell their vehicles for profit. They issued a statement that they began canceling reservations for owners selling their Cybertrucks, enforcing this no resale clause. As we know, some of these Cybertrucks have sold at auctions of over $200,000 or up to and around that. Looks like Ford has even purchased one, is what the stores are telling them. Tesla right now is just canceling the $100 deposits and not refunding the $250 purchase reservation. And some of the questions on like the threads and the forums and stuff like that are, well, why did Tesla allow for multiple reservations when this potentially could have been avoided? I don't know. I mean, from a free market, like people are always going to try to do what they do, but it looks like Tesla's actually coming down on the thing, which is a total opposite thesis than, hey, just sell all these things and get them out the door. Like when Cybertruck is just trying to get resold everywhere.
I do wonder if there's like a clever $50,000 fine on selling one. You would think, yes, you could interpret it as a deterrent, right? But likely if it's publicly announced, right, and everybody knows that, then it probably just added $50,000 to the price tag, right? Like anybody that sells it just added $50,000 and then a little bit more for themselves, which actually just makes the car have that, this is luxury, but it's not really luxury because we figured out a cheap way to make it Tesla vibe that they've mastered, right? Like I have a Model S.
It like doesn't even matter what they do, right?
Yeah. There's things that are like not super tight on that. But I'm still like, this is a luxury car. It's like, I don't know, kind of, it is ish. It's like it's a really good brand play to elevate everything that high.
Absolutely. Yeah. Well, speaking of luxury EVs.
Stop.
Segue.
Time.
Busting through this thing, and as these are as well. So Porsche has set a new lap record at the iconic Laguna Seca Raceway. The Taycan Turbo GT, just a little over a week ago, is Porsche's EV supercar and has beat, speaking of your Tesla Model S, the Model S Plaid's previous record at the raceway, at the track. Right now, the Turbo GT model is priced at about $231,000. It's capable of hitting 60 miles per hour in 2.1 seconds with a top speed of 190. This is the fun part for me is the CEO of Porsche, Oliver Bloom, didn't make it to the lap to see it do the track, but he did watch it on an Apple Vision Pro in their race app, which is like so meta, right?
Welcome to 2024.
It's like,
that's amazing.
Just a few days later, it also set the top lap at the Nürburgring. I can never say that race course. also beating the Tesla Model S Plaid. The weird thing for me here is that the Model S Plaid now, I think at one point it was like 105. You can get one without like FSD and without the autonomy or the whatever the other upgrade, the $6,000 upgrade for like around $90,000.
Autopilot.
Yeah, autopilot.
There's like
FSD.
autopilot and then FSD on top. Yeah,
adds like another 18 grand, which still puts you just over 100 grand. So less than half the price of the Porsche.
Yeah, I mean, what is a Porsche? I mean, I don't know. Like, it is a Porsche, you know.
Well, you know what's not a Porsche? Here, we'll get to this. So just to, like, right now, BYD has been known for taking the market by storm with these cheap, or maybe we won't call them cheap. We'll call them inexpensive EVs, having an EV under 20 grand, a PHEV under 15 grand. And now they've gone completely the other way to the same price point at 230 grand. It's called a Yangwang U9. It is an all-electric supercar made by BYD with 1,300 horsepower, 0 to 60 in 2.3 seconds, and a top speed of 192 miles an hour. Full-on supercar vibes from BYD. Total departure from their inexpensive.
What's it look like?
Thing. It's dope.
What's it look like? Photo of it? Is it sedan style or is it like really? Oh no,
it's like it is supercar.
Oh, it's supercar
big
style.
Rear wing. Cool. You know, basically a Corvette with a little less back end. You know, so a complete departure from their little, you know, stubby looking Dolphin.
I honestly haven't even seen any BYD cars. Haven't looked.
Oh my goodness! Yeah, I mean, it's just like it's like a puffy smart car. I'll call it.
Got it.
Is the way that like they're the thing that's selling the fastest in like Asian markets right now.
Yeah. No, I heard of it. I just was like, you know, I've just never, because it doesn't sound like they're coming to America, right?
They're not. Yeah, mainly because of like tariffs and stuff like that. They had a desire to come to America, but they're running into a whole bunch of issues with lawmakers, and they're going to be producing stuff in Mexico, but maybe not still able to get into the U.S. So, but they're like the top EV automaker in the world right now. They overtook Tesla. So, this is the fun one. I think we've got a video for this. We didn't show this to you on purpose, Ben, beforehand, but this is a video of the reveal. The car actually can dance due to what's called the DISA suspension system. And then there's a fun thing at the end of it. So we're going to watch the video real quick. We've got it pulled up. So here comes the, if you can see, it's like actually dancing. Like it.
What?
Every piece of the suspension system can kind of move individually. So it's actually dancing. And then here,
it jumps.
Slow-mo. It's got about 3 to 4 inches of full-on all 4-wheel air time off the ground due to how its suspension system works.
Dude, I mean, good thing.
Yeah, because you always need a car that jumps, right?
Yeah, the thing, that's what I always say about, like, you know, McLaren, Bugatti. Yeah. I'm always like, guys, I get it, but it doesn't jump, you know?
My favorite comment on the YouTube video was, now it looks like the Transformers movie doesn't need to do any CGI in order to have a supercar do what it needs to do.
It's so true.
It's in.
We are getting close.
We got, we got rogues sitting on lots and cars doing vertical jumps. What is this world? What is this world? That's all we got time for today. A little bit of a fun show today. Hey, have some fun in the showroom, serving customers, taking care of people. Make it about so much more than cars today. See you tomorrow.